南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。The sutra opening Gatha, the Dhamma infinitely profound and subtle, is rarely encountered even in a million kalpas. Now we are able to hear, to study, and to practice. May we fully understand and realize the Tathagata's true teachings. Okay. The Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the Prajna Paramita, perceives that all 5 skandhas are empty and is saved from all suffering and distress. O Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear nor disappear, are not tainted nor pure, do not increase or decrease. There is emptiness, no form, no feelings, no perceptions, no impulses, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eyes, and no forth until no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance and also no extinction of it, and so forth until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them. No suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, also no attainment. With nothing to attain, the Bodhisattva depends on Prajna Paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, the Bodhisattva dwells in Nirvana. In the 3 worlds, all Buddhas depend on Prajna Paramita and attain unsurpassed, complete, perfect enlightenment. Therefore, know the Prajna Paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great bright mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the supreme mantra, which is able to relieve all suffering and is true, not false. So proclaim the Prajna Paramita mantra. Proclaim the mantra that says, Gade Gade Paragade Parasam Gade Bodhe Swaha. So we have studied 6 topics, 6 paragraphs of the Heart Sutra. And now we are on to this 7. The 7th one is being calm and blissful, starting from no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, and also no attainment. And with nothing to attain, the Bodhisattva depends on Prajna Paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. So, this is the 7th paragraph, and we are not far from finishing the Heart Sutra. Isn't it great? No? Have you gone back to actually study a little bit of whatever that we have done before? No? Yes, good. No, okay, never mind. But did you understand a little bit? Did you understand a little bit more? Yeah, good. So I was asked a question. Just this past retreat course, but I think she must have been studying the Dharma a lot. And she asked me, we are observing the sensations. That means there is a self there observing the sensations, right? So when you talk about no selves, then who is observing the sensations? it's so great to have this kind of questions. Is that when there's no self, you don't need to observe sensations anymore. Why do you still need to observe sensations anymore? And I told her that actually no self doesn't mean that there is, you're not existing anymore. It doesn't mean that. It means a different thing. It's emptiness, sunnata. Remember sunnata, right? And sunnata doesn't mean that it's nothingness. It's nothingness. Sunnata means conditioned. Sunnata means what else? Pictures, notebook, read the notes. Impermanent, very good, and very good. Yeah, indivisible, impermanent, conditioned, and there is no inherent self, or you can call it, and there is no substantial self. Yeah. So people are, and then there was another student who came to ask me, I really don't understand. If we have to study, then this, and then there is no us anymore. I enjoy this life so much. I really don't want to be not existing. I said, don't worry, you're far from there. I said, don't worry, you're far from there. You enjoy your life. Don't spend time thinking about this. You're still very far. She said, but one day. I said, oh, that one day is very far away. Don't worry. I mean, it's really no point explaining to them this whole theory of no self. They won't get it. So might as well reassure them that, go and enjoy life. You're still far away from there. You can still have a long path of enjoying your life and go on with it, I sent her off in 1 minute. Rather than, really explaining, they might not get it, right? And if they get it, they won't ask such a question. So it was quite interesting. Actually, quite a few people asking about not self this time. I'm so surprised. I'm really so surprised. Yeah. Okay. So now we are looking at this, right? With calm and blissful. No suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no condition, also no attainment. With nothing to attain, the Bodhisattva depends on Prajna Paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, the Bodhisattva dwells in Nirvana. Okay, this is the paragraph that we're going to study. And this paragraph, the title is Calm and Peaceful, or Calm and Blissful. So now we look at the first one: no suffering and no origination, no stopping and no path. Okay, so looking at those words in red: no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path. What did the Buddha call these for? Very good. The Four Noble Truths. Remember, these are the real basic that all of us should really constantly revise ourselves in that, and have to constantly remember. Okay, no suffering, no origination, no stopping, and no path. The Buddha said these are called this whole thing is called the path, the Four Noble Truths. Okay, so what does the Four Noble Truths actually tell us? When our mind is deluded, that means when we have ignorance setting into our mind, there is suffering. Yeah. And what is the second one? What is suffering? There is suffering. There is the cause of suffering. Good. And there is suffering. So what are the cause of suffering? The cause of sufferings come from where? Our desires, yes. Ignorance, very good. So all comes from the defilements, the afflictions, right? So the cause of sufferings, we can say this is the cause. So actually the sufferings are the result of those causes, aren't they? Sufferings are the result of our defilements. Yeah? So, but okay, let us look at the third and the fourth noble truth first. So the third and the fourth noble truth actually tells you, if you walk on that, walk on the third and the fourth noble truth, and you come out of it, and you become an enlightened being. Your mind is pure, your mind is calm, your mind is balanced. You're free from all the sufferings. So that is the fourth noble truth. It's the free cessation of sufferings, right? So what is that the third or the fourth? Good, Nora. Hey, tricking you, eh? That is the third of the. So how would you lead to the cessation of sufferings? What should you do? Walk on the path. Very good. So the path to the cessation of sufferings is the cause of the cessation of sufferings, the end of the suffering. So look at this. Look at these two things. Look at these two big columns, big category. The first category here is the sufferings, and the cause of sufferings is from all these defilements, all these afflictions. So this, but why would the Buddha why doesn't he put down, oh, cause of sufferings, that's why you have sufferings? Why did he put sufferings as the first noble truth, and the cause of sufferings as the second noble truth? And why did he put the cessations of sufferings as the third noble truth, and the path to the cessation of sufferings as the fourth noble truth? Then you will try to find out the cause of sufferings. Okay, that means we should be aware, we should know that there are sufferings, and we agree that there will be sufferings, then we will go and find a way to relieve ourselves from the sufferings, right? That's very good, Nora. It's true. You are right. But, yes, Paul?
Everything suffers, but not everything causes.
Everything suffers, but not everything can realize the cause of suffering. That's also true. That's why he put it as the first noble truth. Yes? Any more volunteer answers? What are we studying? What are we studying? We are studying the Heart Sutra. Who is the main cast in this Heart Sutra? Who is the main person in this Heart Sutra? Yeah, Avalokiteshvara. But the four noble truths are taught to householder. I mean, not to householder, to unenlightened beings. The Buddha, this was the first sermon that the Buddha gave. Remember when he got enlightened? This was the first teaching that he gave to his 5 ecstatic friends, the 5 attendants. In the Buddhist teachings, it says, all beings are very scared, are very fearful, are very worried about consequences. Sufferings is the consequence, right? So we are aware of the consequences. So we start to find way. But Bodhisattva, no. Bodhisattva are very aware of causes. So that make sure, Bodhisattva make sure that they themselves don't plant causes for sufferings. Whereas we, as ignorant people, we only feel suffered when there is suffering. But we don't know that we have actually planted so many causes in the past. So when we are suffering, then we will start to say, oh, how can I be liberated from the suffering? Okay, we become liberated from this suffering, but yet we forget. Next day, tomorrow, we plant more other seeds for other sufferings. But those Bodhisattva are not. Bodhisattva are very, very careful of what kind of seeds they plant. It's not what kind of consequences they get. They don't care. Because what kind of seeds you plant, you definitely will get what kind of consequences, right? You don't get a pumpkin when you plant a watermelon seed. You get a watermelon. So Bodhisattva are very, very careful. Make sure that they want watermelon, they plant watermelon seed. But we don't. We only see, oh, this is a pumpkin. I really don't want a pumpkin. How can I get a watermelon? Next time I will try to plant a watermelon seed. But next day, tomorrow, we become so ignorant, we forget again. We plant what? We plant squash seed. You see, that's why the Four Noble Truths were arranged in such a way. It's supposed to be actually the other way around, because there is only this cause, and then there will be the result, right? The cause should be the first noble truth, and then the result would be the second noble truth, and then the path to the cessation is the cause of liberation, and then the result of the liberation is the cessation of suffering. You see? Interesting, right? Interesting. You see what kind of people are actually seeing these kind of things in different way. So so by looking at the Four Noble Truths, how can we actually cultivate calm and bliss? If there's no where are we? My eyes are not okay. No suffering and no origination and no stopping and no path. And how would that actually come about in the liberation? How does it come about when we have prajna? We are not planting anything. So why do we have to worry about suffering anymore? Right? So nice. So make sure that you don't plant anything. But we keep on planting things. So we suffered when we plant seeds, and when we continue to suffer, we continue to plant seed. We continue to suffer more, and we continue to plant more seed. It's just really not easy. So the Buddha said, how are we going to come out of this liberation? How are we going to liberate ourselves from all these sufferings if you start walking on the path? So from looking at this, it's just like, remember, you can compare the Four Noble Truths, or you can compare the teachings of the Buddha to a medicine. Remember? So what is somebody give me for example, you have headache. Okay, you have a headache. So come on, somebody give me how are you going to fit that into there? Headache. So what is headache? Okay. And you go to the doctors. Tell the doctor, Doc, I have severe headache. And the doctor would, not yet. So fast? Really? So soon? Wow, he will get you out of there in 30 seconds. Don't go back to the doctor anymore. Yeah, why do you have a headache? Are you experiencing a lot of stress? And is work okay? Is the family okay? Everything okay. Let me take your blood pressure. Let me find out how's your blood pressure like. You have a temperature? Have you got a cold? Where have you been? He asks also questions. Try to what? Find out the causes of your headache, right? And then he said, what? Huh? Prescription. What is prescription then? Where does it fit into the Four Noble Truths? The path of cessation. Yeah, very good. Tan Sifu very seldom talks. Yeah. So path to the cessation of sufferings is the doctor give you a prescription. There you go. Give you a prescription. And so how are you going to deal with the prescription? I think 2 months ago I went to see a doctor. I haven't seen him for 8 years. He said, "Sister, where have you been?" I said, "I've been around." He said, why did you come? I said, well, the sister asked me to come because I haven't been for so long. They wanted me to come and see you. He said, oh, okay, all right. Are you all right? I said, I'm fine. Everything fine. So he said, well, your blood pressure is a little bit high. I said, high? Really? So what's this like? He said, oh, 128/72. That's perfect. I said, doctor, that's perfect. He said, no, 128 is borderline now. I said, no, in my days, it's not borderline. It's perfect. It's beautiful, beautiful blood pressure. He said, well, it's borderline. I think I need to prescribe you something. I said, you're going to prescribe me something? But I'm not going to take it, right? You go ahead and prescribe. I'm not going to take it. So how am I going to cease all the sufferings if I don't take the prescription, take the drugs, right? So he did not give me. He said, okay, let's wait and see. You cut down on the salt. I said, I've cut down salt since last year. He just looked at me. He didn't know what to do with me. He said, oh yeah, you're just such a nice sister. Anyway, so path to cessation of sufferings. Yeah, he did not give me a prescription. Okay, what happened if he gave me a prescription? Okay, I would go and fill the prescription, bring the prescription, bring all the drugs home, and if I take it and I get better, then I'm free of sufferings, right? Cessation of sufferings. But if I don't take it, I won't get better. So the effect won't come, right? So that's an analogy as a physician, as a medicine in Four Noble Truths. If you remember this analogy, you will understand Four Noble Truths in no time. You understand that now, Mrs. Rucker? You understand? Yeah, it's actually, I really like this analogy. It's so simple. So you really don't have to remember this Four Noble Truths. It's just come, oh, medicine. Yeah, medicine. Okay. So the path to the cessations of suffering. So what is the path? Well, this is the main thing, right? The path of the cessation of sufferings. We really want to come out of the sufferings. We want to be happy beings, right? So how can we come out? So the Buddha said there is a path to it. So what is the path? Very good. We have done this 1,000,000 times. We have done this 1,000,000 times. Yeah, but I still applaud that you remember it. Okay, the Eightfold Noble Path, that means, so, okay, the Eightfold Noble Path, okay, now it's your turn. So what is the first one? Right view? Really? You're right, but you're on the bottom of the list. Remember the Eightfold Noble Path in three sections. in 3 steps, the 3-step training. What is the 3-step training according to the Buddha? No. Good. And samadhi, panya. So Shila is morality. Remember, this is so easy to remember. So you don't really have to memorize. I know you guys not used to memorizing things, but you need to. You need to start memorizing things if you really want to effectively and efficiently use the teachings in your life. If you don't remember, if you don't memorize, you just become so mechanical. You won't really have this true penetration into the insight, a true insight into the teachings through your own experience. That's why you really need to know this. So it's nice to go over a million times. Okay? Yeah. So the Eighth Noble Path divided into 3 parts. First part is sila, morality. So what is morality? How many sections? How many in morality? I'm waiting. 5. You are guessing. Morality.
Oh, I thought Shila.
How many in sila? Yeah, Shila. Total is only 8. You take 5? It's only left with 3? There's no fast track, sorry. 3, okay, you think 3. Okay, which 3? Right actions, good. And? What? Right speech, very good. And? You can try. Can. Very good. Hey! It's like a quiz time tonight. Okay, very good. This is morality, right actions. So what are the actions? Which actions? No killing. Huh? No sexual misconduct. No drugs and alcohol. And no stealing. No taking without permission. Yeah? So right speech. You know right speech. That means no. How many in false speech? How many kinds of speech in false speech? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
2.
You really wanted the fast track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2. Quiz. Come on, multiple choice. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say that again, Nora. Malicious, that means 4, right? 4, remember, 4. I gave you multiple choice. You just don't take it. We are too old to use multiple choice. We need to fill in the blanks, right? Yeah. Okay, 4 right speech, okay? And right livelihood, we all know. The livelihood that doesn't cause harm and hurt, that doesn't entail stealing, that doesn't entail selling, buying intoxicants, that doesn't entail firearms, slaughtering, and all that, right? Okay, so this is the first part of Eight Noble Truth, morality. So what's the second part? Samadhi. So how many factors in samadhi? So we have taken out 3 already. So you left with 5 more. So samadhi has how many parts? You're going with 3. Good. Very good guess. Right on. 100 marks. Okay, perfect. Which 3? It will be very correct if you start off with just right. Yeah, right. And then fill in the blanks at the back behind it. Good, very good. And then right efforts, good. And then the most important part. Yes, well done. Right mindfulness, right efforts, and right concentration. You develop that into samadhi, right? So that left 2 more factors in this Eightfold Noble Path. Which 2? Right view and right thoughts. That means right intention, right? So we review again. So right actions, right speech is morality. Right efforts, right mindfulness, right concentration is concentration, samadhi. And right view and wisdom. Right view and right thoughts is wisdom. So this is the Eightfold Noble Path. That is the path of cessations of sufferings. So if we keep walking on this path, that means one day we will be able to liberate ourselves from all the sufferings, right? But really, you don't just, sometimes you cannot just walk on this path. Sometimes, because if you do not have this right view and right thought of how my sufferings actually comes on, how long does it last? And where did it come from? We just like blindfolded, right? So we need to understand the cause, the real cause of the sufferings. So what are the real cause of sufferings? Defilements, afflictions. Where do they come from? Very good. So what does it mean? That we need to understand the conditions that create these sufferings, right? So what are those conditions besides the ignorance? Remember the whole, very good. Yeah. I'm so impressed. You're such a good student. Oh, wow. Nice to be back home to such group of students. Why are you laughing like that? Mischievous.
I agree.
Very mischievous. Okay. So now we know the 12 links are actually, the 12 links actually represents the Four Noble Truths. We can look at it like this. Okay. So the first is what Carrie said, ignorance. Now, what does it lead to? Mental formation, sankhara, and then consciousness. Wow, somebody has been doing some homework. And then nama rupa, very good. Don't guess. Nama rupa, then 6 sense. Wow, very good. When the 6 sense arises, what does it do? What do? They have a contact, and then what does it create? A Vedana, sensations. When there is sensation, what do we do? We start to crave for it. When craving arises, what does it do to us? We start to cling on it. When we cling, we start to create Becoming, we become different people. When we become, then we allow this whole cycle of aging, right? Birth is true, birth, and then aging and death. So this whole cycle, this is how afflictions, this is such much nicer, right? Much cleaner this time. And you see, these whole cycles is a cyclic cyclic evolution, cyclic, not evolution, cyclic revolving, yeah, revolving life cycles, right? From ignorance all the way to aging and death. Okay, so this is what ignorance to aging and death is, the suffering and the cause of suffering, right? Can you see that? So with Prajna Paramita, we see that these 12 links are they permanent or they are impermanent? What about themselves? Each factor is itself. Is it permanent or impermanent? Nothing is permanent. Are you really serious about this? Really? Good. Yes, we should be really seriously agree with this. Accept this. Not just blindfoldly, but because we see it, right? If it is permanent, how can this nama rupa be like getting old? How can we get old? Right? We will not have we will not grow old. We won't die if this is permanent. Right? So because this is impermanent, we understand this through our own experiences. Truly, we understand it. So we agree with this whole cycle. And this whole cycle is the result of all the sufferings. Isn't it? This lifetime, next lifetimes, from the past life to this life, from this life to next life. Right? It's a cyclic revolution. Okay, it revolving, keep revolving, like the wheel of the car, keep rolling. And since any of these factors is impermanent, does any of this factor is inherently existing or has a substantial self? It's true, it's real. No, good. Okay, so because of these 12 factors are really not independently existing and do not have a substantial self, okay? So that means they can disappear anytime, right? Any of these factors can disappear. So when these do not exist, why do we need the no vulnerable truth? When these don't exist, when our wisdom allow us to see through this, to understand all these factors are really impermanent, they are codependently existing only. We don't need the vulnerable truth to remind us. That's what the Avalokiteshvara has been, was like this, because she or he actually attained such wisdom. Her wisdom actually penetrated through this path, understood the whole path. Yes, it looks like it's a cycle, but can we break the cycle? We can. We can break the cycle. Remember, there are 4 points that we can break the cycle, right? And also this cycle, because it's impermanent, we only see it going clockwise, but can it go anti-clockwise? Can it go anti-clockwise? Of course it can. Of course it can. If we are wise, if we don't have ignorance, how would we have aging and death? If we don't have aging and death, we won't have birth. If there is no birth, there's no birth, how would becoming arising? How would becoming come about? If there is no becoming, what's there to cling on? If there is nothing to cling on, where does craving where does craving stand? If there is no craving, what sensation is doing to you? It's just a sensation. Remember, it's just a sensation. And it's impermanent. It comes, it goes, it arises, it passes. And the most important thing is when it arises, it stays. When it stays, it changes. And then eventually it passes. So we know that sensation is going through such a cycles. And we know definitely whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, it definitely will go away. So why do we actually cling on those sensations, which are so fleeting? If we do not cling on those sensations, if there's no sensations, where does contact have any place? Where does contact come about? What does it do to you? Right? And because if there is no contact, the six sense doors are just six sense doors. So in the Nikaya, the Buddha said, hearing is just hearing. Seeing is just seeing. And smelling is just smelling. And tasting is just tasting. And feeling is just feeling. What does he mean by this? You don't have to react. Yeah, you don't have to react because seeing is just seeing. Why do we suffer? Why do we have so many unhappiness? It's because we react to what we see, to what we hear, to what we smell, to what we taste, to what we feel, to what we think. We react. We react with craving to the pleasant ones. We react with aversion, anger, animosity to unpleasant ones. Why? Because we are ignorant. That's where all these dissatisfactions, all these sufferings come about. Right? So, if you are just using the six sense doors as six sense doors, but it doesn't mean that you don't see things. You see things, but you don't react to those things. Don't come and tell me tomorrow, oh, you all the sisters, don't come and tell me tomorrow when I scold you, say, hey, the lamp is out, the light is out. Oh, Sifu, seeing is just seeing. They will come and, Sifu, didn't you teach last night? Seeing is just seeing. There's no light, there's no light. Sorry, you haven't reached that stage yet. Oh, yeah, the bulb is gone. Seeing is seeing, hey? Seeing it, huh? So good, eh? The Heart Sutra. Sifu, please read your Heart Sutra. Okay, but it means that when you are really not attaching to suchness, you accept it the way it is. Okay, but when we haven't gone that, when we have not achieved that state yet, we still have to go through this whole process. Okay.
Would it be correct to say that meditation start to experience and see this in the office?
Yeah. It start to come out.
You start to see it.
Yeah.
It's always been going like this.
Yeah.
And slowly stop and we start to see
you can go the other way. Yeah. Okay. So, and with the sixth sense space, you notice just the mind and the body, nama rupa. And then we don't create new consciousness. If we do not create new consciousness, how are we going to create more new sankhara, right? And if the sankhara is completely eradicated, that means there is no ignorance. So that's the cycle. I think it's so wise. The Buddha was so wise. It's really brilliant, awesome, cool, right? I mean, how would you think about this? How would you get this? Because this is what he actually experienced in his last moment of enlightenment. And he said, because of this, we go round and round and round and round in birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. He said, I have seen this in this life. I have seen this in the past life. I have seen this in the many, 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 many past lives. And now, I am not going to repeat this anymore. So you come out of it, okay? So when this cessation of ignorance, then the cessation in Pali is nirodha, right? Nirodha, Nirodha, nirodha. Nirodha of aging and death completely stops. There's no more aging, no more death. Okay, so that's the final ultimate cessations of sufferings. And this is the whole path, really, the whole path of the cessation of sufferings. So when the Buddha taught about this Four Noble Truths and the 12 links of dependent origination, he said that he actually turned the Dharma wheel 3 times. Isn't it great, this picture? I took it. This year, when the ice storm, yeah, I'm going to have another book coming out when Polam is built. What's wrong with me tonight? So happy to be home. Turning of the Dharma wheel. The first turning of the Dharma wheel. What did he teach? He taught the Four Noble Truths. And then the first turning, he said, this is suffering. This is source. And this is relief. And this is the path. This is considered as the first turning of the Dharma wheel. How many times did he turn the Dharma wheel? 3. Did you just guess or you knew? Really? Oh. Everybody knows except me. Okay. Now the second. Okay, so this is the suffering, this is the source. That means this is the cause, and this is the relief, and this is the path to come out. So this is the first turning. That means this is the first basic knowledge that we really need to look into when we understand the Four Noble Truths. And then the second turning, another picture that I took. Pretty, eh? The second turning, he says, this is suffering, which you should know. It's different from the first one, though. The first one, he only says, this is suffering. We not necessarily know this is suffering, right? People think that they are having a good time. People do not think this is suffering, right? A lot of times we are so ignorant. We think, oh, I'm having a good life. Yeah, I mean, have a house and have a car, have a job, have a girlfriend, have a boyfriend. Yeah, have a good, live in a great country. Great. Suffering? No, come on. How can you be so pessimistic? This is suffering. because you don't know anicca, this impermanent, this life could at any time. And at that moment, what kind of mindset are you carrying? Where are you going to go? And have you tried yourself to actually improve yourself this lifetime? Have you tried to correct whatever habit pattern that is causing a lot of ill will, animosity in yourself, in others? Have you? So you don't realize that? The Buddha said, you should know, which you should know. This is suffering, which you should know. And then he said, this is its source, which you should cut off. Right? And he said, this is its relief, which you should realize. That means you should realize this is the path. And this is the path which you should practice. So this is another step higher. Did you see the difference between this first turning and the second turning? What difference? What did you see? Don't just nod, I ask questions. Yeah. You start to see through it, right? You start to see. And you should start to what? Walk on it. Really practice, not just saying. There are a lot of people just talking. It's really not walking the talk. It's just talking the talk. People keep saying that, oh, you can swim like this and then you'll get a gold medal in the Olympics. Yeah, but you throw yourself into the pool, whether you can get a gold medal in the Olympic. Right? The people who get gold medal in the Olympic are not the coaches. Are those swimmers. They put the talk into the walk. Right? Okay, so what is the third turning then? I'm showing off my pictures. This is Cultus Lake. Where am I going to be buried? No, I can't. It's illegal to spread the ashes on lake, right? Illegal. Really? Oh. Think about that, huh? Okay. I said to Eva, I felt so sorry for you. You're the youngest among all. You have to start sending us off, and you'll be all alone. And she said, yeah, that's what Ansifu told me. I said, you better get some young ones on board. And she said, I've got 3 children. Yeah. I feel so sorry for her. She's so young. Anyway, who knows, right? Who knows? Anyway, the third turning. This is so touching. The third turning is so touching. It's so inspiring and so touching. He said, this is suffering which I now know. I now know. I don't have to experience, but I now know. That means he really start every moment of life. He's so clear and so balanced the mind. And he said, this is a source which I have cut off. Wow, give me goosebumps. And he said, this is relief which I have realized. Can you imagine? I'm just picturing the Buddha, in his enlightenment, saying these words there. And he said, this is the path which I have practiced. So he told us, because of his own experience, he told us this is the way that we should take on in order to be liberated from our sufferings. So the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths for us, for the students, the followers, to really allow us to have a place to rest on, so that we can start practicing, we could start seeing, we could start understanding. Now we hear, now we listen, we heard that there's no suffering, there's no source of suffering, there's total relief, and because this is the path, right? So when there is no suffering, what's the necessity of having a path? We don't need the path anymore. When you have crossed the river, why do you still need to carry the raft? Just to prepare for the future river that come on your way? Don't be so bad. Don't be so crazy. Don't be so stupid. So foolish. Right? So that's why the whole thing is no suffering, no origination, no stopping, and no path. That's what it means is when we attain that Prajna Paramita, we actually have that kind of wisdom. We don't need to see noble path, four noble truths anymore. We don't need the Four Noble Truths to remind us anymore because we're not suffering, right? So this if there is this path, that means somebody has to walk on it. And if there is no suffering people, why would the path be necessary? Why would these teachings be necessary? These teachings won't be necessary anymore. That's great about the Buddha's teachings also. The Buddha said you should let go of my teachings too. If he's come out and say, you have to carry my teachings all through this life, next life, many, many lives to come, then he's not a worthwhile teacher to follow. Because with Prajna Paramita, you eventually see that there's no teachings that is necessary because you're totally free. You're completely free. You're completely liberated. Why do you still need the teachings? You don't have to carry his book around anymore. Right? Isn't that great? Wow. One day. So, isn't it great? It's awesome, isn't it? It's just right across from Chilliwack River Road, where I used to live. I saw that sunset. I said, what kind of sunset is this? Attachment. It's pretty, isn't it? It's true. It's real. I can show you from my computer. I know every picture. I took so many pictures that night. Every picture is so different. Every picture you can see the changes coming along. But it's so pretty. It was like, I think it was last summer. Okay, that's why it says, for no suffering and no origination and no cessation and no path of cessation. The Four Noble Truths was the first teaching that the Buddha taught. And at that time, where a lot of people, upon hearing this teaching, became enlightened. And we now, through tonight, we understand even the Four Noble Truths itself is impermanent. Yeah, it's ever-changing. So if we consider that the Four Noble Truths is the Buddha's teachings, the Dharma, then we can call that there is no Buddha's teachings too when we become liberated. Not now. When we become liberated, we don't have to label this Four Noble Truths anymore. We don't have to carry it on our shoulders anymore. We don't have to write down on our books anymore. Even the Dharma, even the teachings are impermanent. Right? That's the whole thing about it. The Dharma. The Dharma is this impermanent. Right? And all phenomena are impermanent. So our sufferings are the result of our ignorance. And because of ignorance, we have this craving and aversion and ignorance and further ignorance. And that's what the cycles of sufferings keep coming and keep coming. So if we can follow the 12 links of dependent origination to eradicate our sufferings, eventually when we are completely liberated from that sufferings, we do not need these 12 links anymore. We do not need any of the teachings anymore. That's the beauty of the Buddha, and that's how great he was. Wonderful night. Okay, announcement. Auspicious blessings chanting ceremony coming up in July 29th to August the 4th. It's already posted on Facebook and put on the website. If you want to offer food, light, whatever, flower, you're welcome to join. And also, if you would like to come to this auspicious blessing chanting ceremony, you have to let us know, because we need to get English version of the chanting sutta for you guys. Okay. But if you cannot come, if you would like to do it at home, you're welcome to do it at home together with us. I will make further announcement later on about what we're going to do. Okay. So and also we can do it at the same time, reciting in English and Chinese. It's great. Wow, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we will, because of the auspicious chanting, ABCC, that's what ever wrote, ABCC, auspicious blessing chanting ceremony. So July 31st, the Dharma sharing will be suspended. Okay. All right. Good tonight. Very good. Okay. So let us dedicate our merits. We bring our attention back to our body. Feeling this ever-changing phenomenon, experiencing the teachings of the Buddha right here, right now. And at this time, we allow this good thought to arise. For all the benefits that I gather tonight, may I share with all beings, human, non-human, visible, invisible, big or small, far or near. May they be free of enmity. May they be free of miseries. May they start to live in a world with brightness, warmth, and experience compassionate love, and be peaceful and be happy. May we wish more and more people will encounter the Buddha teachings, the great teachings, to study, and most important, to practice them, to liberate themselves from their own entanglements, deliver themselves from all these sufferings, and attain ultimate freedom, and be happy and be peaceful. Great.